everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, we're
Hello.
back. It's 1, 2, 3 Conversations. I'm Candace Thomas, an intuitive coach, and I'm joined by Terry Dean, who's a sales and marketing expert and also a creative entrepreneur. And we are so happy to present our very special guest today that we're interviewing, which is Vanessa Bruce, who is below us. This is on the screen. So Vanessa is, I really love that we have her on today because so often everyone talks about, we really have to be looking out for our mental health, our emotional health, and even taking care of ourselves physically. And Vanessa actually owns 2 companies that it's like a one-stop shop for guardianship, where she helps people advocate, whether it's for themselves or getting advocacy for loved ones who are dealing with mental health issues or physical health issues. And she also works with court systems in New Mexico, establishing if guardianship is necessary and what kinds of support that people need. So again, we keep talking about it. And as we were talking before we started the show today, one of the things that is really important to Vanessa is that people are not left behind, which nowadays in the energy and the climate that we're in, it's very easy to be missing people because so many people are going through a lot of different turmoil. And we'll get into that. So I'm jumping ahead of myself. I'm so excited though. So Vanessa, thank you so much for being here. And, 1, 2, 3 Conversations, typically it's one topic, the 2 of us host, me and Terry, and we ask 3 questions, but we're going to ask like way more than 3 questions today. We always do, but like for real with you.
1, 2, and 20 questions.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. 1, 2, a million. Yeah. 1, 2, infinity. So, my first question for you is for people who don't know what guardianship is or what kinds of things that we can advocate for in terms of our mental health or physical health. Can you just explain what it is that you do?
Yes. I first wanted to say thank you both for inviting me. I'm so nervous, but yet so excited to be here. And so with guardianship is in every state of the United States, which a lot of people don't know. And it was founded because of the mental health people in these states did not have the support, did not know where to go, did not do any of those things. So the states devised a guardianship program where they kind of pay for people like myself to spend time and to help people get through court cases, get through hospitalizations, determine eligibility for medical, determine living arrangements, help them to get off the streets or move to a safer location. So it's wide range. It covers a lot for guardianship. And my role as a guardian, I have about 15 clients now. And they range from senior citizens. I have people that are in nursing homes to teenagers. I have, well, not a teenager, 19, I guess it still is a teenager. So, and I do a range of services with these individuals. So that's pretty the basis of guardianship. As a court visitor, my role is to go into the courts and be the eyes and the ears for the judge. So I go to the homes where people are saying this person needs to have a guardian and decide whether this is really necessary or not, because guardianship is taking away the rights of individuals and it needs to be taken seriously. Because once I get into the picture of being a guardian, I'm responsible for every aspect of that person's life. I am the mirror of that person. So it's a huge responsibility across the board that is really taken seriously.
Yeah, it's a big, big deal, and I'm wondering, because there's all kinds of things when it comes to our mental health. As we've had a challenging last 10 months, 9 months in this country with COVID and all that. And you hear these stories about people who are really pushed to the brink because of these new circumstances that we're living in with being socially isolated and things like that. Have you noticed additional challenges with the work that you're doing?
That has totally been my Achilles heel. Okay. I mean, people with disabilities who are used to going to a day program or some type of program to get out the house or to break up the tension in the house, because when someone is caretaking with someone with a disability, it can weigh heavily. So having those programs when they can go out and do things, be in the community, interact with their friends, do all that is taken away from them abruptly. and you're talking about people who really don't have a lot of control of their emotions, it
Mm-hmm.
has been the most difficult, challenging year, I believe, that I've
Right.
ever experienced. I mean, I've been around people who've had breakdowns. I've been
Right.
around people, some who have survived it and done better because they came up with new coping skills. So not
Interesting.
all of it is a bad thing. I have someone that I work with who was like, you know what? I'm going to start working with the legislation. I know I have a disability, but they have the disability rights, and I'm going to speak. I want to go and
Mm-hmm.
speak. And I was like, you know what, girl, you go, girl. What can I do to help you get there?
Right.
And now she's on the legislation. She speaks for people with disabilities. She's always involved in something. But that's what she chose to do, to not sit at home and to be a victim, quote unquote, of the COVID.
Right.
And that made me so happy.
Right.
Where I have others who had total breakdowns and meltdowns and ended up in the hospital. So it's just that person, and just having to meet that person where that person is.
Something that is standing out to me in what you're speaking is with guardianship, and you have to take over, and then you have a responsibility for people and making sure they're doing the things that they're supposed to do for their care. But I like how you're also saying your approach isn't, oh, poor them, and they are incapable. Right. Your approach is, oh, well, what is it that they actually need right now? How can I hear them? How can I listen to them and validate them and support them and meet them at their at, is what you're saying, which I think might be a different view of guardianship than what some people think it is. You know, like some people might feel like it's disempowering, but the way that you speak, it actually seems to be the opposite. So do people, when you're working with them, and you said you have about 15, which has to be a lot if you're responsible for all these like facets of care for them, that's a lot, 15 people. And especially with the space that you're holding, and not like infantilizing them, like you're a child and I'm your mom and taking care of you. It seems like doing it, I don't want to say the right way, but doing it in the way that is empowering and holding space has got to take such a toll on you. What do you do to take care of yourself? Like, how do you disengage, and how did you do through COVID with seeing all of these things and going through all of these things?
Well, that's funny, because that's exactly where I was going to go when I was trying to remember. Because
she is psychic, you know.
Right. I mean, she totally got what I was going to say. So let's do some real talk right now. COVID and my business and what I do has taken a toll, because sometimes in this, I haven't been able, actually none of the time through all of this, have I been able to just separate and take some time and be with me and know that I need to be taken care of. And that's why I think we're, as women and as people, where a lot of times when we're so focused on the outside, we miss the inside. Right. And I think for me, I've stopped looking at the inside because there's so much going on the outside. So COVID for me has been really difficult. However, the good side of it is one of the things that I did decide to do was totally change my life and become this workout queen.
Oh,
bought
good.
the mirror. I bought the exercise mirror. My whole garage is turned into a gym. I got the music. I got everything now. So I'm set to go.
Nice.
That's where I do my release now, because I have to, because if you don't, then I become like so short and so temperamental, where that's not helping anyone. That's just kind of feeding all the other things that are happening in this world. So taking that time is really important, as well as giving, because you can't give all without taking that time for yourself.
Right.
So
that's huge.
That has been challenging.
That is huge. But good. I'm glad to hear you set yourself up at home. That makes it just a little, it's a step easier to do it.
It
right?
is. It is. It is. And get a smile. It's 5:30 in the morning. Not smiling too much. By like 6:30, I got a grin. Okay.
I love it. I love that. I love that. What else would you suggest to, I have a few questions just about if someone is, something else that I want to say too is you're a hired professional. And I think sometimes if you're a family member or a friend of someone who's really having deep challenges physically or mentally, people feel a little stuck, and then they feel guilty, and they will end up doing harmful things or saying harmful things because they just don't have the training. Like, I feel like there's this expectation on everyone to know all of the things as opposed to like getting help or support. So how can people, if they feel like they want more information about guardianship, or like what would be a first step if you said most people don't even know that a person like you exists in their state? How do people get the ball rolling or even look to, you know, find you?
Well, they can contact me at Vanessa at ascendinghope.llc.com. And the reason why I chose Ascending Hope, even the company name meant something to me, because I wanted people to ascend to a different level, whether it was just to get out their bed. Say, I made it out my bed this morning. That's ascending to another level. Just to walk down the street for people who don't want to walk down the street, that's ascending to another level. So that's the foundation of everything that I do. And in our country today, in the world today, there's so much chaos. There's so much sadness. There's so many people being pushed aside because they don't want to be, other people don't want to hear what they have to say. I think the key is to take the time, and I will continue saying, take the time to just listen and not always do. And that's the other part of it, because I can't always do. Sometimes I just have to just listen and let things be. For people that are caretakers of family members, I think that's one of the most difficult jobs, because you are on 24/7 and you need some help. You need some respite. And that's one of the things I'll always throw out is getting respite. It's getting that time away for you. If you're a family member taking care of somebody with a disability, and it could be a minor disability to a major disability where someone is 100% reliant on you, but you have to have that respite. And that's the first thing I would tell people, no matter what. And Candace, I think I learned that from you more so when I talked to you about just taking care of yourself. And I just keep hearing that, and I keep hearing it, and I keep pushing that, because it makes me a better person and a better guardian, I think. And even with our country today and all of the sadness and the chaos, I still see a light. I see a light. I see that these people that are walking the streets, maybe we can do something different. Maybe we can. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know, but I am darn sure gonna try to think about it and try to see if there is something that can be done. There are some people that we can't do that because that's what they want in themselves. And we got to respect that too. Some people want to be homeless, and some people want to do some of the things, and I can't change that. I can't. So I'm just that vessel to be able to kind of do what it is that you need.
I love that, because I think that also ties back to what you said, which is huge. First step, just listen. I was at I can't remember the name of the person, but I went to an anti-racism seminar over the summer, and someone said, some of the reasons that things perpetuate or keep going is because people immediately see problem, and then we jump to trying to solve the problem when we don't even fully understand it. So if you just jump in and try to, and then that's why things start looking, and this isn't just with racism or anti-racism efforts, but anything that we're trying to change in the country that we think needs to be better or improved. If we just jump right into, you should do this, then that's just like, that's where these Band-Aid fixes come from that make things ultimately worse, because we're not taking the time to really fully understand and just listen. And really, it's like, it takes so much time in the listening period. It's not like you can just listen once. It's like, and listen isn't just listening, but observing and just being really present with a person so that you can get a better understanding of what's actually going on. Because sometimes people aren't even, it doesn't even matter how articulate you are. You might not be able to even understand who you are, what you're going through until you're talking things out or living your life, and someone reflects back to you, hey, you know, I think like you're operating in this way. And you go, oh, you're right. I didn't even see that I had this huge blind spot. So I just love what you're saying, because I think that light of hope, I feel it strongly too. And it does come back to, before we all just jump into, we've got to take action on this. It's like, of course we do. But one of the actions we take is, can we just listen? Can we just take a moment and really witness what is happening within ourselves and with the things that the people that are around us, and really trusting when we feel that call to, oh, I feel like I can step in here and do something, or nope, this is a Vanessa job.
Right. And then we call that person that can help, right?
Right.
That's so huge. Yeah.
Let's call a friend.
Call a friend.
Phone a friend.
Lifeline. What was that show where you phone a lifeline?
Yeah, right.
The $100,000 pyramid.
Yeah, right? Like, I think people get wrapped up in, I have to be the one. If I'm a good daughter, if I'm a good mom, if I'm a good sister, if I'm a, good spouse, I have to be the one that does everything for this person, as opposed to admitting, I am way out of my depth here. And can I, who else knows better? Who else can provide the support and not feel like a shitty whatever? Like, I'm a bad friend because I just don't know what to do here. And then people get frustrated and resentful and yada, yada, yada. So
interesting.
Yeah.
And I had this exact conversation with another friend this morning. We were talking about a 13-year-old, that is just, nobody's really able to understand what's going on. But my friend just reminded me, God, 13 years old, like, you just have to let them be. They're trying to figure things out. And then I think of myself at 13, I was hell on wheels at 13. I was out of my skin, I think, from the ages of 12 or 13 till 24, just trying to, busting out seams. Oh, yes. We'll stop it right here. Candace made me share something in one episode that I think I probably shouldn't have shared. So I don't want to overshare. But it's not about me. It's about you, and it's about the work you're doing. So let's just focus.
Well, now we have to know what that is. Like, you just walked into that, because now I have to know what it is. Like, you can't just leave us on a cliffhanger like, oh, there's this really awesome story, but I'm not going to tell you.
It was just really hard for me to be a teenager, right? And if I would have just had somebody that could have sat with me, and I actually did. I had my 8th grade science teacher. I would go see her after school, and she ended up being a real sounding board for me, because I didn't feel like I had anywhere else to go where anybody got me, and at 13, who gets you anyway at 13? So all this stuff is it just the parallels on so many different levels, and holding space. And who do we think we are that we can change somebody anyway? It's not up to me to tell Candace what she's supposed to do or not do, or how to do it, unless somebody's asking for that advice. And I'm not trying to tell anybody how to live their life or any of that. But if somebody is seeking counsel, and even if I know I'm over my head, you just have to funnel it on over to a friend or make recommendations. But people, I think that would really help so much, just like what you're doing, Vanessa, is just take a minute, give somebody some time, look at them, focus, and just not just listen, but hear them, like deeply
hear
listen.
them. Right.
Yeah. And then, but if your boundaries also are being encroached upon, know when to cut the listening.
Back out.
You can't just expect somebody to be a sponge or be a whipping. What am I trying to say? Like, you're sitting there at the, you're almost being brutalized by the person because of the stuff that they're carrying that you're not equipped to handle. So knowing when to step away and turn that over.
Right.
Yeah. Just take a minute from the get-go.
And it's like, and I want to be very careful when we talk about the mental illness thing, because and this is my own belief, I believe that all of us have some level of mental illness, whether it's, and I'm not even going to finish that statement, but I think we all have some level of it. And it's just realizing that person just may be a little bit further along, but I could be there one day too. And I would want someone to hear me and to see me and to listen to me, just like I want to listen to you. And I got into this business, and I'm going to tell a story.
Tell a story. Okay?
I'm going to tell a story.
Tell a story. Let me get my little blanket.
I had no idea about guardianship when I moved to New Mexico. Zero. Knew nothing about it. I started in this type of field when I was 15. And my background, I come from an abuse background. And since I was a really young child up into my 20s. However, I took what was negative for me and tried to make it into a positive. At 15, I was working with children who were transgender, who were trying to do identity, it was just the coolest thing. So I was like the youngest, but yet I was leading the sport groups and doing all those things. I learned how to model by some of the drag queens that we had there. It was just like the best time of my life. And just taking those bad stories that they came in with and watching them leave with smiles and watching them leave feel like they can kind of get through another day, it made me feel like I could get through another day. So those things were important to me. So those things I just kept as my foundation. When I went to Arizona, I led the Professional Women's Association, and we had 3,000 members. And we worked with people who were successful, but wanted to give back and learn how to give back and learn how to do those things, because now they're in a different place. But sometimes we forget. And I never wanted to forget. So, and this is why, this is not easy, but it's worth it. If you can say one person has a smile by the end of the day because of either me listening or something that I did or said, then it's worth it. And that's what I think we should all wake up to, is saying, like, what can we do today to better ourselves and somebody else around us? And
always.
That'll make your day worth it. Your day worth it. And I'm not always good at it. Trust me. I'm not
None of us are.
Right.
But I'm just trying to learn. Go ahead.
Right. I love how you are normalizing mental health. That I can't even tell you. You're talking about 13. It was like, well, I had terrible 26. My terrible 26s was me, and I was losing. And I think it's so very real that a lot of us are probably close to a mental episode, much more closer than we realize. And we might be going through things that we don't even know that we're having a mental health issue, because it's so stigmatized. And we have an idea of how things ought to look when it gets really bad, and minimizing what we're actually going through. And so I love how you just said, just what can bring me to tomorrow, and then just being willing, when you have the energy and when it feels good, to hold that space for other people in whatever way. So I know you had mentioned your website before, but do you have anything coming up that you would like to highlight, or what's the best way for people to get a hold of you or contact you if they'd like more information?
Yeah, the best way, I think, right now would be just to email me, and then I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. I have normally a 24-hour turnaround time when I get an email or a call. My email address is vanessa@ascendinghopellc.com.
Okay,
wonderful.
nice.
So, wonderful.
Yeah.
And I have an idea for you too, like maybe down the road, we can talk about, I don't know if you ever would consider doing a workshop, because we have so many people in our community, that we talk to, so many ladies that you've met. You've been to a couple of our Fem City events, and hopefully maybe you'll be a part of that at some time, and maybe hosting some workshops, I think would be really valuable. And I think it just, gives people a deeper understanding. So thank you for all you do.
Oh, thank you guys. You guys are so empowering. Just listening to you guys, sometimes you just have to listen to somebody to get their positive vibes so that you become positive, because not all the time we're positive. And you two are the two that I always go to for those positive vibes. It's just, and I just love it. I'm sorry.
Super
I'm gonna
sweet.
get emotional.
No, thank you. Thank you.
That touches my heart.
Yeah, richly blessed.
Yeah.
And, richly blessed to have your friendships and the friendships of those around me. And just this elevates. I love my conversations with Candace that we have all the time anyway. This just kind of is the conversations on steroids, because we get to pull other beautiful people in to have conversations, and hopefully there will be a light bulb for someone listening, or, it just pulls everyone up. So thank you. Thank you for being you. Yeah.
Yes. I just ditto everything Terry said. Terry, how can people find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Terry, Terri, Dean, Dean, or you can find me on the Fem City website. You can look for my information there. And if you message us or put a note in any of the comments, happy to get back with you. And thank you so much for tuning in and making this a part of your day. We really appreciate it.
I also have LinkedIn. I forgot about my LinkedIn. Now, don't ask me what the name of it is right now because I was just trying to pull it up.
Just pull up your name, Vanessa Bruce, and you'll populate. Yes. I think I'm connected with you on LinkedIn too.
Yes.
Right.
I forgot about my LinkedIn.
That's hilarious.
So while Vanessa's looking for herself on LinkedIn, how can we find you?
My website is Candice Thomas Intuitive, CandiceThomas Intuitive.com. But the fastest way is probably you can just look me up. I'm not on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram though at Candice, Candice Intuitive, all together. And I just joined Clubhouse, but I have no idea how that works or what it means. So yeah.
Cool. You can send us invites. I'm still trying to figure it out too.
Right? It's like super exclusive somehow, but I kind of
Clubhouse.
Yeah, it's a whole other
Clubhouse.
Thing. But I don't know yet. How do we have time for one more platform? I don't know. Like, I don't know.
They were genius. They're genius by having it like invitation only, because then it's like this like psychological like, oh, well, I want to be included. Am I cool enough to be a part of Clubhouse? And so, genius strategy, I have to say. So did you find your LinkedIn, Vanessa? You got it?
If you just look up Vanessa Bruce, because I don't know the tagline, you'll find me.
That'll work. That will work.
It's fine. So Vanessa Bruce.
Or find me and look for my connections and you'll find you.
Right. Like a scavenger hunt. LinkedIn scavenger hunt. Well, thank you all for watching. This is 1, 2, 3 Conversations, and we'll be back next week with another amazing guest and wonderful conversation.
Bye. Bye.